former Lords, Blackrod using his well-known discretion and diplomacy.
Lord Grey?
Yeah.
How difficult or easy did you find that process, the voting?
I think one of the half dozen most difficult things I've ever done in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
The decision you made could be important, and also think about what one's doing to one's friends. Very hard. One has to balance so many considerations, as it makes one feel quite sick in the stomach, to be honest with you.
When you've gone for the obvious ones, do you then go for those who will turn up all the time, but may not, when they're here, have a great deal to offer, but are regular attenders? Yeah. Or do you go for those who have a great deal more to offer when they come, but may not be very regular attenders? And I think you can give a perfect example of that by somebody who isn't standing, which is Lord Stanley, which is very sad he isn't standing, because he, on agriculture and on Wales, has a great deal to offer.
I said I wouldn't stand right at the beginning.
No, I tried to persuade you to stand.
No, well...
We're going to miss you.
No, you know, as I said, I think my main reason is that I wasn't prepared to come up regularly, which I think those who stay will have to, much more than I did. And also, on principle, I don't want to come here unless I've got a job. I've got actually something to do.
But that's the change. The change is that the part-time peer has gone.
Yes. You put your own interests, which is in my case farming, or somebody else being a dentist or being whatever, before the party, don't you? And that is bad. That's a sin against the Holy Ghost. You've got to worship the party regardless.
They want the votes. Yes. They don't want people who will not turn up, like you and I didn't turn up, because we had other things to do.
You see, it's a vital point who is going to follow us. I think it's the one thing that the public really do support us. They don't support the hereditary peerage. Don't let's bluff it ourselves to that for a minute. I'm not sure I support myself anyhow, but they do support the idea that they should know, we should know, who is going to take our place.
What are you coming to show me?
I would like you to read, please, the letter which I would send to non-elected hereditary peers after the election next Friday.
Next Friday.
But I would value your opinion about the tone and style of the letter.
Thank you.
Okay?
Nowadays, politics is a career. These people start aged, these sort of political advisors start at the age of about sort of 12, having come out of Red Brick University, go into central office or Millbank, immediately get given a sort of seat, end up in Parliament, and then they either make it or they don't. And then in their 40s or 50s they decide they need a career move. So they retire from politics and go into the city, hopefully having done quite well in politics so they can land a decent job. Actually, it's the wrong way around. It means that you get people in politics for the wrong reasons. They're in politics for their own career reasons rather than for the benefit of the people they're meant to serve. It's a different game. Yeah. I mean, the trouble is that our system in Britain is designed for amateurs. The House of Commons was designed, and the House of Lords was designed for people who had their own income, and therefore that side of it wasn't thought about. And we've now reached a watershed, and we're either going to have professional politicians, or we have to go back to the way it was before. We can't go back. So I guess we'll end up with professional politicians.
Which gallery is his lordship's guest to? South East. It's got something, but
the trouble is how do you reform the House? And this is the real difficulty, because if you elect it, you've got to give it more power. Because if you don't give it more power, nobody in their senses would stand for election. I mean, why should they go to the bother of being elected if they haven't got any power? On the other hand, if it has more power, that means the House of Commons has less power, and the House of Commons will never agree to that. On the other hand, if you don't elect it and you have a nominated House, then they're just placemen of one form or another, and they're really no better than people like me. In fact, I'm hereditary, and therefore I'm beyond the pale. But in point of fact, a nominated House has just the same problems as a hereditary House. As I've said earlier, I think the problem is what you do instead.
Exactly. So who do you have sitting there?
What you do instead. And you see, it depends what you want the House of Lords to do.
The record was of this government. But on incapacity benefit, the government are acting disgracefully by hitting these people. We are not jeopardising the good things, we're simply challenging the government who are hitting people